Hello, everyone. Happy day. Happy day. So, today's podcast episode is going to be titled How to Fearfully Use Your Words. Now, before you start wondering, girl, what do you mean fearfully use your words? Are you trying to say, use fear to speak? What you talking about? Okay, let me clarify. Okay, so when I say fearfully, I'd actually done an Instagram video where I talked about, being fearfully made, which just means being made with intentionality. And the level of intentionality is not on you, the creation, but it's on the creator. And the thing is, we do this all the time as creatives, and writers. When we're creating content or creating our art, right? There's a level of intentionality and there's a level of care that goes into ensuring that we're creating the best quality work. So that is what I mean when I say being fearfully made. So when I titled this episode, How to Fearfully Use Your Voice, Use Your Words, sorry guys. What I'm trying to say is words have power. And there's a level of intentionality and care we have to use when it comes to speaking and using words, using our voice, right? Because the purpose of words, right? This is just a list I created of what I've found the purpose of words to be. So the purpose of words, I feel, is to create, to shape, to help communicate, and to share information. This is like a short list I made of what I think the purpose of words is, but I really want to zone in on the words help create. The purpose of words is to create. And you might be wondering, what do you mean by that? Yes, as a writer, as creatives, when I write, whether I'm writing for myself or for clients, I'm using words to create something. So there's that perspective. But here's the other perspective. Words help create, bring forth. By create, I mean they help bring forth what is invisible to the visible. You might be like, wait a minute. What are you talking about? Okay, hear me out. When you're speaking, you're essentially creating out of your thoughts, right? And your thoughts, are invisible. Ta-da! So when you're speaking stuff, you're literally bringing forth what is in the invisible. And the thing about words is, yes, words have power, but I feel like words only have power when you believe what is said. And from my personal perspective, I feel like that ties in directly with what you believe about yourself, okay? Now, I'll give you a perfect example, right? If someone said, you never amount to anything, for example, right? If you were to internalize that, what is it in you that makes you feel like that's not possible? Sometimes it could just be you're having a really tougher day mentally, and that really struck because it's almost being used to solidify how you're feeling about yourself. But again, you see what I'm saying? It still goes back to certain things you might be believing or feeling about yourself, either in the moment or on a deep internal level. Right? So words have power, yes, but I feel like the power comes when you believe, right? Your belief of certain words and phrases, I feel, are influenced by how you view yourself. So when you're taking in information, I think it's very important to intentionally think and decipher where that information is coming from. You're trying to get to the root and the source of these words. So with the example I've given where someone says, you never amount to anything, where is that coming from? Don't just take it at face value. Look at the source. Look at where it's coming from. First and foremost, let's just recognize, okay, that did not come from you. It came from someone else, okay? So there's part one. It didn't come from you, it came from someone else. So that should be your first indicator to say, okay, first and foremost, that's not from me, it came from somewhere else. So where is that person coming from, right? And then you go deeper. What kind of ideology do they have that makes them feel that? Well, they seem to always be either complaining or saying negative stuff. I'm like, okay, again, it didn't come from you, so that should be your first indicator not to internalize that. Okay, and when you look at them, what perspective are they bringing this from? What's the source of them? Well, maybe it's something that they're struggling within themselves. Again, they're saying these things, bringing to life words based on what they believe about maybe themselves internally or in that or in the moment, right? Sometimes it's not just it's not a deep belief. Sometimes it's just something you're believing in the moment, right? So if they're saying that to you, again, one, it did not come from you, okay? So that should be your first red flag, not to internalize that. And two, if it came from someone else, where did that come from? Maybe they're struggling with insecurity. Maybe, again, there's something they're believing about themselves in the moment or on a deeper level, and they're projecting that onto you. So then when you realize what the word is as it's being created through their mouth, through their voice, being shaped as the vocal cords are using the sounds that they generate to say these words, understand that these words have nothing to do with you, especially when they come from other people. Now, let's talk about the flip side, okay? What about when the words come from God? When God says, "Oh girl," or, "Oh dude, oh person, like, you are healed." And you're like, "Oh, but Lord," and I said this in the Instagram video, I said, "But Lord, what if I don't feel that way?" What kind of perspective is the creator bringing these words to you from? Well, first and foremost, he is the original creator, right? So if he's telling you you're whole, it may not be that you feel that way in the moment, but it could be that he is willing and dedicated to helping you come to a point of wholeness, right? Or a point of healing. I hope that makes sense, because I just love words so much. When I say words, because I'm a writer. Come on, guys. I'm a writer, and I just love being able to use words to help create. And I feel like the creation is on a deeper level. Yes, I'm helping create with words, but then it goes deeper. It's like now I'm helping, people create products or things with their words. But being a word, geek, a word nerd, I get to use my gift also to help them shape it in that way, right? So I just wanted to say, like, what kind of background or mindset or thought pattern is this information being processed from when you think about words, right? When you say certain words, what kind of history are you bringing to? And that's what I meant when I said, like, when information is being brought to you, you want to be very intentional to think. Make sure you're thinking. I'm like, okay, this information is resonating with me, but what kind of background is this person approaching this? What kind of history are they approaching this from? What kind of perspective, philosophies, and ideologies are they bringing these things from? Because it's one thing for someone to say, I believe that, what's an example? Women are the most beautiful thing in the world and they deserve to be heard, but yet they have a mindset and ideology that women are supposed to be slaves in the household where they're doing everything and the man is meant to sit down. And this is just an example, guys. This is just an example, okay? So it's like, okay, I agree with the statement that women are beautiful and, they're powerful and all of that, but I do not agree with the ideology, right? The philosophy behind where that's coming from. And this is where it becomes very interesting, because you may agree with what someone is saying, but you may not agree with their philosophy and ideologies, their mindset and perspective on things. And this is where we have to be very intentional about deciphering and saying, I really need to hear that today, but the philosophy behind that and the mindset, I don't really agree with, but I appreciate you sharing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay to disagree, guys. So why am I saying how to fearfully, sorry guys, use your words? How to fearfully use your words? Because words have power, and the power comes when you believe certain things. But even when we're believing these words, there's a perspective you have to have and intentionally use your mind to think and decipher the root and source of some of these words. Some of the information that's being shared with us with words. Some of the information that's being communicated to us with words. Some of the information that words are being used to shape our narrative and perspective. We really need to be on point with that, right? We really need to be paying attention to that, because as a writer, we are constantly doing this. And one of the things I want to highlight is I never want my mindset as a writer to influence the people I am helping with their projects, right? So I immerse myself in my clients or the people I'm helping's content to make sure that what I'm producing is true to who they say they are. But another important part of being a writer and learning how to fearfully use your words is just making sure that the people you're helping align with who you are and the vision. I feel like there's nothing wrong with being able to say, I don't think would be a good fit, but maybe I can redirect you to someone else, or, just saying, no, I don't think we're a good fit, unfortunately. That's okay. You can say no, you can set boundaries. You don't have to take on every single individual because, again, and I learned this from one of the people I'm helping, one of my clients. She says, we have to learn that we create our work environments. We are shaping the work culture. So if we're taking on certain people or partnering with particular individuals that don't align with us, what we're doing now is opening up our work environments to be susceptible to unnecessary negative perspective, negative mindsets, and unnecessary pressure because it is a lot. And I don't think we understand how mentally exhausting it can be to take on projects or to partner with people that don't align with who we are, that don't align with the vision we have for our businesses. It can be really exhausting to do that because now you have to put in more mental energy that you normally wouldn't put in to make sure that you are protecting your values and vision as you're partnering with someone who may not fully align. And the thing with that is it may be more challenging for you as an individual. It may be more mentally taxing. Okay. I feel like I sort of like took a mini detour, but I just wanted to share that. So and the thing is, as writers and creatives, it's very important with the work we create to check and see where the ideas we have come from, right? I will give you a perfect example, okay? So before the person I am today, so maybe I want to say 3, 4, 5 years ago, I was, I guess 3, 4, 5 years ago was a big transition point for me because I was really in my healing phase. Okay. So 3, 4, 5 years ago, my mindset was I got to cut people off that don't align with me. I got to cut people off that just are not really vibing with who I am. Like it's a no. Okay. But that was my past mindset. But my present mindset is what boundaries do I need to set and what conversations do I need to have to ensure that the relationship is healthy, especially if I value it. And if it's not healthy and these things aren't being respected, then I can cut them off. You see the difference, what I'm saying? You see the difference? Because I could tell you past me was really in the cutting game. Like, no, I'm not doing this. No, but you have to understand the perspective and mindset I was bringing with me at that time with my past mindset of cutting people off was shaped by a history of feeling like I don't want to be hurt, which was shaped again by fear and insecurity. So when I was saying these words, they were coming from a perspective of fear and insecurity. You see what I'm saying? And then now, presently, when I say these things, I feel more in tune with myself. I feel healed, and I know there's more growth I need to do in certain areas, but I feel more whole now than I did a few years ago. So my mindset more is I understand that people may be going through certain things. No one is perfect. But how can we ensure that this relationship, these friendships, these business partnerships are healthy and conducive for both of us? And if it's just not working, then maybe we can talk about cutting people off. But, and there's nothing wrong with that. And there is nothing wrong with it. But you see the different perspective. The words I'm saying now differ because of the perspective and the experiences and the mindset I have now versus the words I had historically. You see what I'm saying? That words have power, but I feel like they're directly linked to who you think you are, who you believe you are on a deeper level or even in the moment. You see what I'm saying? So, and I want to ask you guys, what kind of words do you speak or think about yourself? Right? I'll give you an example. Randomly, I was meditating with the creator, and he pointed out to me that on some deep level, there's an area in my life where I feel unworthy. Not in all areas, but a particular area in my life. And I was like, what? What? Okay, I guess this is something I need to sort through. I don't fully understand where it came from, but the fact that he's telling me this, I'm like, okay. So I keep meditating. This was just a few days ago, actually, guys. So I was meditating. I was like, okay, can you help me understand where this is coming from? And I'll be honest with you guys, I have no idea. But I'm not going to start like pushing myself to get to the root, to get to there's like the roots. Like when I say root, let me clarify. I'm not going to push myself to try and solve this particular piece of information that has been presented to me by the creator. No. What I'm going to do is say, oh, okay, thank you, God, for showing me that. Let me know how we can solve this. Because I used to find that when I started trying to approach certain things the creator would tell me about myself in the trying to solve it and keep it moving kind of situation, I was rushing and missing the elements that would have helped me understand it holistically and ended up delaying a lot of stuff with myself, right? So I now take the approach of, oh, okay, thank you, Lord. Let me know how we can kind of solve this. And I'm finding it just unravels naturally and I'm able to see things clearly versus trying to rush to solve it so I can get over it and keep it moving. Like, no, there's a level of patience I'm finding in this season that I need to have. So I just wanted to share that and be, transparent with you guys. Like that came up for me when I was meditating. And I was like, whoa, okay, Lord. I don't fully understand where this is coming from, but help me understand, right? And so I just wanted to use this as an example. Like, I'm still processing this. So when I do figure it out, I will update you guys, okay? But for now, I'm just being transparent and saying that's an example of how you can approach certain things. Now, you're not me. Your methods, your process might be very different, but I just want to use an example. And the thing is, this is the thing. So there's a king in history named David who recognized that the creator knows him, right? And that's the particular part in scripture where it says, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works. Woohoo. And when you read that, you're like, dang, because I used to think God said that to King David. No, the creator didn't tell him that. He realized that on his own after spending much time with the creator. And it got to a point when you read the whole chapter where he's like, yo, people don't really know you. Like they're saying all this stuff about you and I don't agree with it. It kind of makes me mad. Like, what you mean? Do you know who this guy is? He's made such beautiful things in the world and I am one of those things. And I'm just realizing how beautiful I am too. Like, what? Do you know? And this is the thing I want you guys to understand too about words. When the creator is telling you stuff, what mindset is he bringing it to you from? Right? We've talked about the perspective of, yes, we may come to things with a certain mindset, whether positive or negative, and that's how we produce certain things. And please understand, I'm not saying you gotta speak in a level of perfectionism to make sure you're not saying super, super intent. No, be honest with where you're at, but be intentional with speaking life to yourself and even to others, right? You can still communicate and say, hey, what you did really made me feel some type of way. There's nothing wrong with being able to communicate these things because remember, words are also for communicating because the purpose and again, intention of you using these words to communicate is to ensure that your friendships and your relationships remain healthy. You see what I'm saying? This is why I said how to fearfully use your voice, how to use your voice with intention and care. I keep saying voice. I might end up changing the title to voice, but the focus is words, right? Using your words with a certain intentionality and care to make sure that you're producing the best possible result and the best quality. So when King David, correction, he was a king back in the day. King David comes to this realization yo, creator, you are lit and you made me and I am lit. I feel like we need to really start digging deep into what the creator says about who we are because the perspective and mindset he brings from it is that of a creator. Listen, all my creatives in the building, hello. All my writers in the building, hello. When you create an an artwork, a masterpiece, a poem that is just so like, yes, I like this is it. I feel like that's exactly what the creator thinks about you, about us as people. Like, yes, that's it. Like if your poem, if your artwork, if your book or whatever it is that you create, your song were to speak back to you and be like, yo, I'm lit. How great would you feel? Tell me. Okay. Or flip side, if it were to speak back to you and say, I don't really feel like I sound that great as a song. I don't feel like as a poem I'm hitting all those notes I need to hit. You as the creator would be like, hold up, honey. Let me help you understand. You as a poem, you as a song, you as a written work, as a work of art, this is what the message is that you're meant to convey. If your poem understood what you made them to do, trust and believe your poem would have a whole lot of confidence. So, a little side note, spend a lot of time with the creator so you can understand how he made you to be. If you guys are wondering, how'd you get from your past mindset to your present mindset? Yeah, I spent a lot of time with the creator. I spent a lot of time asking God, I need you to tell me who I am, because I don't know who I am and I need help, period. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say. Anyway, I hope all of this made sense. That's all I got for you guys. So I'm going to put some of the links of the things I was talking about in the show notes, like the passage I talked about being fearfully made and just some other stuff that I feel like I should add in the show notes. And if you're interested, you can follow me on Instagram at Nyasha Marian. And that's all I got for you guys. So have a wonderful night, day, afternoon. Oh my goodness. Yeah, have a wonderful day. Okay, bye.